is going to be the third map, so picking this one first, maybe players have strategies on this that they want to use but want to kind of keep hidden. You know, because they've kind of had a strategy plan, they didn't use it in the first series, so now they can maybe still use it here. That may be why we see Frost before the maps we've already seen that are remaining in the map pool. Get rid of a few of the mind games. Divert a nice standard game maybe to set up into this series. Let's do this. To the bottom left-hand side of the map, our blue Protoss player from Rye Esports. Ladies, gentlemen, let me hear it if you're cheering on Cyan. And to the top right corner, our red Protoss player. Ladies and gentlemen, it is none other than the god himself, the maker of gateways, Haas. Maker of gateways, I don't know where that came from. I was trying to think of something cool to say and I couldn't come up with anything. So, maker of gateways. I mean, sometimes he makes gateways, sometimes he makes a lot of gateways, sometimes he makes a lot of pylons. He's the sort of guy you can expect absolutely anything from, as we see 2 gate opening from both players. So, if you were around in the earlier stages of today when we were talking about the PvP, 2 gate is a very standard way to open. It's more or less the go-to in the Protoss versus Protoss matchup. We did see a little bit of a mix-up in the earlier matchup on New Gettysburg. Haas blocked his opponent from scouting and went a single gateway, so he gets fast attack. But generally, that's very risky to do, especially on a map like this where your expansion has not got a ramp leading up to it and so on. It's very risky to just go 1 gate because then you're almost never going to be able to hold an expansion early, which is just a way your opponent can set up an early soft contain, and so on, and so on. As we're going to be seeing, both players will begin to scout. Haas actually came immediately cross-map, so he comes cross-map straight away, gets a very early scout off. I mean, it's not too big of a deal. Cyan will still get across the map in time to see that this is 2 gateways, and that will be the information he really wants to pick up on right now. Look at this, though, from Haas, the Twilight Council to the top side of the base, and that's a Twilight that's fairly well hidden. I wonder if that's going to be a Dark Shrine follow-up here, as we do see this probe from Cyan, now more important than ever to try and investigate this little bit of a weird, quirky opening that is going to be coming out now from Haas. 2 Adepts on the way from both players, so again, both players opting for the Adept-based opening here to help with the scouting, to help with getting some damage done perhaps in the early stages of the game. Very reminiscent of how they were both playing earlier on. There's the Stargate follow-up from Cyan, going up against the Twilight Council though. I mean, Twilight generally it is at an advantage over the Stargate because DTs are better against the Stargate. Blink is very good against the Stargate. There's the Dark Shrine coming down, and Haas trying to get a little bit crazy up in here with this fast Dark Templar play in game number 1. Now, Cyan has a Stargate, so if he goes into an Oracle, if he goes into Phoenix or anything to scout or go into his opponent's base with, he will spot that Dark Shrine most likely. If he can see the Dark Shrine, that's something he at least knows about then. But then is it going to be in time? Because, I mean, an Oracle can only revelate 1 DT at a time unless they're clumped together, which makes it very difficult. It's going to take time for a Robo to build it. It's going to be an Oracle opening here. Cyan sees his opponent thinking about taking an expansion. These Adepts going to start shading. Not up there just yet. The pylon block. Because Haas doesn't want his opponent to see what's going on. It's very, very smart. These Adepts going to commit to make sure the pylon finishes. Because now there isn't actually a probe on the low ground, which is a little bit awkward. As one of those Adepts goes down, the other Adept going to get away. Actually, not if he runs into 2 more Adepts, which is exactly going to be the case right now. Going to cancel that. So actually, this Adept is going to get chased down. 2 Adepts fall. Doesn't get the information either. These units will come back and now work their way through this pylon to get access to the probe onto the natural. Natural expansion startup from Cyan as Oracle is going to find this pylon over here. So he sees a pylon. Not going to think too much of it just yet. Another Oracle is building. Is he thinking that this might very well be Dark Templar play? And he's getting another Oracle ready to detect. As you're going to see these Adepts coming over here. We only see those DTs coming in. He sees them there right now, opening if he's paying a lot of attention. And it's when they start to move that he has a better chance of spotting them, and he does spot them indeed, so he knows he's got their Oracle on the way. He should have a Revelation to use here. Can he get 2 DTs caught in 1 Revelation? That's going to be the question. No sentry to block the ramp. Oh, he gets it. He gets both the DTs. Overcharge will confirm the kill on the first Dark Templar. Haas gets shut down heavily in the first game, and he still has Oracles to fight against as well, so Cyan still has some possibilities here to get some more damage done. He's already 5 workers ahead, but he can take an even further lead because of the fact his Nexus is already finished. Haas's is not. His Oracle is here to pick off some probes. Haas doesn't have that harassment on the map any longer. He still has Dark Templar. As we see Cyan with a very good wall off up here just to make sure. Actually waiting just a little while to get some energy back onto the DT right now actually. So we're going to be seeing that Revelation up again. Dark Templar push back once more, cancel on the pylon. A couple more units warping in. Cyan still looking very good in the very early stages of this PvP. Again, it was an 0-2 earlier when these two players played against each other. It was Cyan who dropped both maps, but this time he's gone into a very good start, which is very important for him. A few workers going down to a couple of depths, which did sneak through, but they get dealt with. Not too much of an issue. If Cyan can win this, well, he would be very happy, I'm sure. He's already got $800 in the bank from winning one of his group stage games. Haas already has $1,200 in the bank from winning one of his group stage games. And so it will come down to this series now to see not only who advances to try and play for more money, but who also gets a good chunk of money in the near future as well. A few adepts going to be moving forwards from Cyan. So they're going to move towards the upper right hand side of the map. We're going to see the Nexus dropping down here from Haas as well. So Nexus drops down on the third base. So you can see those two oracles just thinking, just getting ready to go in and start working their way through this mineral line once again, maybe. Both players with the third base at very similar times here, as we see Haas going to finish up that blink upgrade. Interestingly enough, we do see no blink, but rather a resonating glaives here out of Cyan. I don't think he was actually planning on kind of committing here with these adepts, because he actually, you know, I thought he cancelled one, but he didn't. Just me being silly. 12 workers killed, 13 workers killed, 14. These adepts just picking up so much damage over here, and that is going to be him in an even better position now. Once again, Cyan now 20 workers ahead in this game. He lost one of the oracles, he lost 4 adepts, but for 20 more workers killed, or 16 more workers killed, it's again a very good trade. As we're going to be seeing these oracles just pulling back towards the bottom left hand side. I mean, again, the resonating glaives is interesting, but we're seeing immortals, we're seeing +1 as well. So we're just going to be seeing sort of an immortal adept for a little while here. Probably going to blink afterwards as well then. Although we will see. Again, we've been seeing definitely some weirder kind of strategies in the PvPs today. We've been seeing some of the weirder games in PvP that I've seen in a long time. I mean, earlier Cyan actually went for a Cyan earlier went for the double forge, which is something which you just never really kind of have happen in the PvP. So I'm just going to be seeing a few more gates being added on here. So a bunch of extra gates on the way up. The immortals continue to be corona boosted out as this oracle here just starts to pull back. So oracle pulling on back, and again, just going to be seeing these stalkers starting to trade. A couple of immortals as well starting to trade. Nice little blink forwards there, picks off a pro. A little moves by both players. I mean, Haas utilizing the blink, which he has right now. Cyan just saying, well, you know what, I know I'm ahead, so I'm not going to run into a bunch of stalkers that might actually do more damage than I need them to do. As we're going to be seeing. Yeah, I mean, the immortals are going to stand pretty strong against them. Haas doesn't have that many stalkers. 5 stalkers is anything but a threat. Revelated as well means that they're kind of, you know, he knows exactly where they are at all points in time. An observer gets taken down trying to come across the map. Well, hallucination maybe, actually. Oracle does get picked off here, which is something. A couple of force fields, and he gets 1 stalker kill. The other gets away with the blink down to the low ground. So Cyan's still just moving around to try and get something done. His +1's going to finish shortly. That'll be an upgrade lead that lasts with him for the majority of the game, presuming he doesn't stop producing his upgrades here. I'm just going to be seeing again 2 more gates being added on. Immortal being added as well by Cyan. So continue to set up into this. We're going to be seeing an hallucinated phoenix starting to move towards the upper right side. I mean, again, PvP, you always want to be trying to scout and just figure out what your opponent's up to. Is there a certain tech structure on the way? A couple of adepts warping over here from Cyan to try and defend these stalkers, not being too successful just yet. At the same time, though, Cyan is pushing across the map, and he's ready to come up and maybe even just trade this out. I mean, we're looking at this army from Haas, and he doesn't have any sentries to kind of block it off or cut it in half or anything. It's going to be very difficult for us to do much with this. Now his third base is under attack, so he has to start fighting down into it. He shades the adepts forwards. Stalkers are going to get force fielded in half. The adepts will commit here, I think, but, well, I mean, they commit into what? Pure death. I mean, the +1 upgrade is hugely favourable here for Cyan. He's doing a lot more damage than his opponent is. Haas has to tap out of the game, and Cyan is going to take game number 1 in this. Could be it. So if you guys have a favourite player here, if you want to see one of these guys taking this victory, it's time to start cheering them on. I want to see who you guys are cheering for in the chat, so let's hear it as we introduce the players. Spam their names a little bit, cheer them on, whatever. I want to hear who you guys are cheering. So let's hear it first of all for the Red Cross player down to the bottom left-hand side of the map right now. Channel him some support if you want him to win Game 2 and stay in this tournament. It is, from Taiwan, it is Haas. How many times can I say it is within 5 seconds? Give it a few seconds, see if anyone in the chat's actually going to cheer Haas on. See if we're going to have any Haas love coming on in. Maybe, perhaps, possibly, potentially. No? No one? Really? Okay, I'm going to introduce Cyan. You guys better start cheering. There we go, blunderful guy with a woo. Yeah! There we go, people come. Maybe I'm just on more of a delay than I think. Brage FFS saying Haas. Go Haas from Wooded Microbe. Haas from Blitz 779. From Dark Ones as well with lots of hypes. Haas God. Haas for the win. Okay, Haas getting some love. To the bottom right side, from Riot Esports, our Blue Protoss player is going to be representing China. Can he make it to the round of 8? It is Cyan. Let's see how this goes. As we see, Probe just moving out onto the map. We're going to see what's going on, what's happening. Or maybe more than just looking to see what's going on and what's happening. As I guess he walled himself in, so he's just going to go have a look to see what's going on, what's happening. It's 2 gates from Cyan. It's 2 gates from Haas here this time as well, but he has hidden a pylon to the side. He's going to go for a hidden Stargate over to the left-hand side here. So I'm going to put this Stargate down. Just going to see that on the way up is Cyan coming down in towards the main base in the next few moments. So Cyan going to be jumping in towards the main base, going to be popping up here, and just going to be seeing those 2 gateways. And as we see Haas with this probe continue to move over to the right-hand side. So Haas is moving over again. The Stargate is interesting. We're going to see this time out of Cyan a robo facility before he takes an expansion. So this is going to be intriguing because if Haas goes for the Phoenix again, Phoenix are very good against robo-based units. I mean, Immortals get lifted up by them and so on. And that's that can become very intriguing as we see, well, the Phoenix is on the way. Haas has loved this Phoenix play all day today. He has very rarely made an Oracle out of his Stargate, pretty much every time, going for this Phoenix-based opening. As we're going to be seeing 2 Adepts currently shading forwards right now, out of our red Protoss player, Haas. Don't do anything. They don't want to commit into those Stalkers because they'll go down very quickly, and that would be a little bit of a waste. We see them Stalkers already jumping onto one of these Adepts here, and we'll get rid of that before it is able to shade away. So 1 Adept goes down, the other will commit to the shade into the main, but 2 more Stalkers waiting for it here. Haas going to lose his 2 early Adepts. Doesn't gain much for them. 2 more gates on the way from Cyan, but this is now going to be scouted, so Cyan's actually going to go into a very aggressive 4-gate play. And with a Warp Prism as well, this is going to be very intriguing, because with Phoenix out, he can hunt down the Warp Prism, he can lift a couple of units. Oh wow, this is going to be interesting. The one bad thing for Haas though, his Mothership Core is very delayed in production, and a delayed Mothership Core like this is really bad considering the situation he's in, because this 4-gate pressure, you need to buy time, you need to buy yourself some time to kind of get extra units up and so on. But without a Mothership Core early, you have less energy. That's going to be 1 overcharge available rather than the 2, which you would usually have at this point in time. As the Warp Prism getting ready to go, the first 2 Stalkers currently pushing towards the front from Cyan. So in the end, those Adepts did end up doing something from Haas. At least he did get the scan information he wanted. First overcharge comes down on the natural. Will buy some time initially. Warp Prism still coming across. Again, those Phoenix will look to try and take that Warp Prism down. Cyan might be forced into building another one of those here. He's about to hit a supply block. Cyan, why are you supply blocked? No! That's a big mistake. That might even be game ending, because the last thing he wants right now is to have his attack delayed. You're going to see him trying to fight against these Phoenix, trying to start targeting them down. Now he can warp in again. As he needs the Warp Prism coming forward, use that Warp Prism to microwave, to use it as a bit of a blink, but this has been a complete disaster, not having that extra warp in when he should have, because of his production being supply blocked. That's a big mistake by Cyan. That really makes him, misses out on an entire kind of row production of units. He had the money to warp your stuff in. He would have wanted to warp stuff in there. Do we see Haas popping the overcharge here on the low ground? No. Just going to let the pylon take damage. Mothership Core taking damage now though as well. Mothership Core will go down, and the overcharge does go off though. So buy some more time. 2 more Zealots warping in. Phoenix did get killed off before. Only on 2 Phoenix now, as the Stalkers did target down. This isn't over yet. I mean, Cyan's definitely not played this out as well as he could have, but it is still looking not over yet. I mean, we're going to see him maybe pushing up this ramp, and he's got to push into a concave if he wants to fight this, though, which is going to be problematic. Nice couple of force fields, though. That's 2 free Adepts for him now. Phoenix coming forwards there. They want to be careful, because, again, the Phoenix will go down very quickly to the Stalkers, as we saw before. Pylon getting worked away, so he has a little bit more ease getting up this ramp. Warp Prism probably wants to get out of Warping mode and get into Micro mode. As we see the Phoenix, they'll be targeted down here initially. The Adepts in the front, though, will be doing a lot of the tanking. And there's that Micro starting to come in from the Warp Prism. Misses the Sentry, though. He needs to get rid of that Phoenix before the Warp Prism goes down. The Warp Prism falls. Haas is going to hold this off, as the Warp Prism going down really is a big kick in the teeth to this build order. And Haas right now is chasing those units. He knows he's got the army supply advantage. And that is going to be, well, about it. I mean, honestly, Cyan's getting pushed back across the map. This could have been so much better for Cyan. I mean, he was still so close, even when he got supply blocked on one of the most important warpings of the game, when he's about to attack the first time. And, well, the Warp Prism going down in the end. We're going to see a pylon trying to come up here. I mean, that's good, denying this pylon. There's still one over here, though. He needs to shut down these pylons. If he shuts these down, then at least Haas cannot immediately counterattack with reinforcements, at least. Now we have an Oracle going towards the main base. Both players will start an expansion. Haas slightly ahead in that, still slightly ahead in army supply as well. With the Oracle out, he'll be looking to try and take a bit of a worker lead. And as we do see another Warp Prism going across the map. Stalker's in this, just looking for harassment-based attacks here. Oh no, these sentries are in a lot of trouble. Sentries take damage very quickly from Oracles. That's 2 sentries going down, and the Oracle gets away as well. Haas, very good trade for him right there. Pulling back after 2 sentry kills. The Stalkers will come across, and they'll try and micro a little bit, see what they can get up to. They'll start trading with a few of these Adepts, a little bit of pickup. I mean, again, that's one thing you can do. He's going to start trying to target down some of the, well, maybe the Phoenix, for example, maybe some probes. I mean, he'll actually lift up and just move over to the side so you can target down that Phoenix. Finds the Stargate now, so he'll try and get this pylon. More units coming over here, though. He really wants that Phoenix, because if he doesn't get the Phoenix, then the Warp Prism will continue to take damage. He'll go over to this ledge now as well and try and use this to save himself. Warp Prism will survive for now, then. As we do see Robo dropping down from Haas. Only a couple of workers advantage, but again, he is... Well, I mean, let's actually just look at this overall. Haas has a bit of a tech lead because he has an Oracle, he has Phoenix. And they will be kind of advantageous over Gateway units because they can do damage, they can harass, they have good uses during the fights. But on the other side of things, if we just take a moment to consider the other side of things from Cyan, I mean, he's continuing to build Gateway units, but he's going into Twilight now. His opponent's only just starting up a Robo, Twilight, and a Forge, so I mean, maybe that's one way Cyan will fall behind just because he doesn't have all of those kind of upgrades we see. 4 Adepts moving forwards. I mean, again, looking to just kind of attack multi-pronged around the map, try and get damage done, will once again try and unpower this Stargate. I don't think, I mean, Cyan's not in great position, but he's not in the worst of positions. It could be a lot worse, as these Adepts, 2 of them do come in towards the main base here, 2 of them in towards the natural expansion as well, and we are going to see some damage starting to be done. I mean, this is exactly how Cyan can find his way back into this game very quickly, very easily, by doing damage like this onto the middle line of his opponent. 4 workers killed. Not the best again, but not the worst. Stargate is currently unpowered as well. Now Oracle's still positioned just to the right-hand side. Resonating Glaives on the way from both players as the first upgrade out of the Twilight Councils. Again, those Adepts into play. Forge on the way up as well from Cyan, getting ready to go to his +1. Only now really missing the Robo facility to match what Haas has in terms of production. Cyan actually holds a 4-worker lead currently. I love this little bit of a play. The Stasis Ward on the third base. Cyan was getting ready to take that actually, but gets caught in that now, and that's going to be a 20-second delay before he can actually drop the third base down. Cool little use of the ability there, as we see Stalker's shutting down that Warp Prism play across the map as well. So still somewhat even, with Cyan just trailing slightly, but not kind of in a unwinnable sort of position, definitely. I mean, drop the Nexus down, he's still going to be about 20 seconds behind on it compared to his opponent. Does he get it before the Phoenix come in? Yes, he does. You're going to see those Stalkers continue to work their way against a couple of those Phoenix, doing a little bit more damage right now. Warp Prism still sat above, overhead in the skies. We're going to be seeing the +1. We'll be finishing shortly. And Oracle actually diving back in though, 2 more kills. I mean, the worker count is ping-ponging between the players. Nice overcharge just to make sure that Oracle does die this time. Hallucinated Phoenix just wants to figure out what's going on across the map. There still is a Robo up for Haas, which there isn't for Cyan. Cyan goes into the Templar Archives though, getting set up into Archons. The later Templar Archives isn't as much of a deal though, because with Archons you can kind of warp in as many as you want. You're limited by gateways rather than Robo facility build time. So, interesting. We're going to see this third base coming up over to the right-hand side here, and we are going to be seeing Cyan moving out onto the map with this Warp Prism. So Warp Prism moving out onto the map. You're going to see that couple of Phoenix to the top side. Still moving around, still kind of around in the game, not doing too much, but some map control and so on. Maybe pick off an Adept over here, for example. Warp Prism back towards the main. And again, just continued harassment out of Cyan throughout to try and keep himself in this after his initial attack didn't go the exact way he wanted it to. Only one Immortal from both players. Sorry, is there a robot for Cyan? Wow, I must be blind. It's been there all along. Ignore me, guys. Apologies for that. As we'll be seeing these deaths picking off a few probes. So 9 workers killed off, 10, 11, 12, 13. Again, Cyan is always doing damage, it seems, with these Adept drops. Knows that Warp Prism is going to die, so just brings all of his units together, just fight as best as he can, get the best possible trade while the units get killed off. Nice little move, and now he finds himself 14 workers ahead. So he is a little bit behind in army supply because he has been throwing units away to try and use, to be aggressive with, to get this damage done to the mineral lines. But I feel as though he's got enough. I mean, look at the units tab, 3 Archons to 3 Archons. He's actually down 1 Immortal. Down in Adept, slightly up in Stalker. He's got a couple of sentries on his side against 3 sentries. He's only a little bit down. He can even things up very easily, and he will have defenders' advantage, which is positioning. You'll have fast warp-ins in position, no problem. Doesn't have to worry about a Warp Prism. Mothership Core for overcharges as well will also be very useful here. There's another Adept warps in. Cyan's even started +2 attack. I wonder if it's worth cancelling that right now just to survive this. He's 16 army supply down. Can Defender's Advantage do enough for him right here? Has the better army in pretty much every way. It is just Defender's Advantage that's going the way of Cyan right now. But he's doing a good job of buying himself time. Has just sort of saying, I'm going to the right, I'm going to the left. Cyan keeping up to date with him, keeping track of where he is at all points. And again, Cyan just saying, well, I'm very ready to sit in a concave and sit in a bit of a better position than you are. If you attack up into me, Haas moving a bit more committed in towards this base to the right side now. Overcharges will come down. There's multiple pylons here. Haas backs away, so actually in the end baits out 2 overcharges and doesn't actually end up having to fight against them. Cyan still just wants to be cautious, but he is starting to close that little bit of a army supply gap as his extra economy comes into play. Another overcharge here. Kind of nice idea on the... Ooh, this is kind of weird. The Adepts come in from the backside. This is a very weird fight. Adepts from Cyan are currently caught up, not able to fight. As we see sort of units all over the place. That Warp Prism is going to get another warping in, but now he gets taken down, so no more reinforcements. I think the Adepts at the back from Haas might be able to make something happen here. The Immortals at the front are taking a lot of damage, but there's an Archon here too. More Adepts from Cyan also. Cyan pushes this back, still out of work. A lead +2 upgrade is going to finish very soon for him as well. He never cancelled it, so that's going to be an advantage he now takes after defending this fight attack. Cyan pushes Haas back, and Cyan takes a lead in game number 2. Is Cyan going to take the 2-0 revenge kill after losing 2-0 to Haas earlier in the tournament? Is he going to get the 2-0 revenge against his opponent here and advance on through into the quarterfinals as well? The Chinese, somewhat prodigy, is starting to show his true colours, and he's defended Haas's attack. He's still got that worker lead. He's got an upgrade lead. He starts +3 because that's how unafraid he is of Haas's further attacks now. He's on more gas as well. Haas never saturated gas on the 3rd base, because he knew he was going for an aggressive attack with lots of gateway units and attacking right there, whereas the gas was taken for Cyan, and with this gas he's had a lot more time tech-based units able to come out, and that is a big difference over the last few minutes. I mean, that's an extra 800 gas in the game right now for Cyan that Haas just hasn't seen. So that's a big deal there as those Adepts begin to shade away to safety as these units coming out from Cyan moving forwards. And we'll be seeing Haas just cancelling those Adepts right there. I'm just going to be seeing Haas still to the top side. Warp Prism coming across the map now as well. So Warp Prism over to the left-hand side here as we'll be seeing another Adept warping in. We're going to see a Fire Photon Cannon being put down from Cyan as we're going to be seeing those Adepts moving forwards as well. Those Adepts looking to move forwards. Again, those few Adepts from Cyan going to the left. And there's that Warp Prism going to be dropping off in towards the main base. So the natural expansion, I should say. So again, Cyan is once more going to be doing economic damage to Haas, and Haas is not in a position where he can take this. He's so far down. He's got a lot of depths across the map, but they're going to fit, shade into a 4th base, which has no workers on it just yet. Gives Cyan a lot of time to respond to that, to pull back if he needs to. I mean, it is a lot of Adepts. He will begin to pull back. I mean, he's doing plenty of damage across the map anyway. He wants to minimize the damage he takes. Big warping as well to obviously help against this. And this is Haas just not finding a way to kind of continue fighting against Cyan here. I like this. The Adepts threatening the shade over there, but may just continue up in towards the main base. They do commit into the 3rd. But guess what? Cyan's army has come back, and now Cyan cleaning these up very easily. He loses a lot of workers himself, so Haas actually doing some good economic damage. Makes up for that Warp Prism doing so much across the map, but that Warp Prism's still here, so actually Haas is still going to take more damage. Adepts warping in again. It's another 6 workers going down. He's 20 workers down still. As Cyan pulls his army out, gets ready to go over to the left-hand side of the map in the next few moments. The +3 weapon is about to finish on the forge from Cyan. A few probes moving around in towards the 4th base, which is set up for Cyan as well. Haas not saturating his 4th base just yet. And Cyan just waiting for the right moment, the right opportunity to move across the map and take advantage of the lead which he has. I was just going to be setting up, waiting for this. I mean, again, we go back to the units tab. We compared this earlier, but now 5 Archons against 2, 2 Immortals apiece, 16 to 12, 4 to Stalkers to none. I mean, Cyan just has a huge lead. Dark Templars are out though from Haas. I mean, there's cannons in location though, and there's multiple cannons in location on the bases, and that's the thing. Cannons in location, he's going to be able to defend against this. DTs are not doing anything just yet. First one dead, second one won't kill this cannon in time, not by the time an overcharge comes in. He'll get a couple worker kills, but that's going to be about it, and that's not really enough here. He needs more than that. Overcharge comes down, cannon's still in range. Boom, another DT is dead. And so here we are with Cyan across the map. I mean, there's a lot of DTs in this army now from Haas. He's going for kind of the, oh my god, please, this is the only thing I can rely on at this point. Like, I need these Dark Templar to, like, save me. He needs to try and snipe that Observer of his opponent. Cyan knows it, though. Look at that, he pulls it to the back, and he realizes that he's going to win the game because of it. GG, Cyan!